Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Draw with Rob. With me, Rob Biddulph. Now then, I'm a children's author and illustrator. Maybe you've seen some of my books before. This one is called Show and Tell. It's all about a class of school children who bring in some really crazy things to show and tell. Look, the Sphinx and a pyramid. All sorts of crazy things. Big Ben? What? Flying saucers, Loch Ness monsters. All sorts of fun stuff. It's a really good fun one, that, even if I do say so myself. This is my latest book. At the time of recording, it's called Dog Gone. It's all about Teddy the pug here who loses his human when he takes him out for a walk one day. It's a fun one too. But we are here today, as per usual, to draw a picture together. But this episode of Draw with Rob is a slightly different one because we are going to be doing a Picasso-style portrait. Okay, now, who was Picasso? Well, Pablo Picasso is his full name. Actually, it's not his full name. Do you want to know what his full name is? Strap yourselves in, everyone, because you will not believe how long this name is. It's got 23 words in this name. Okay, this is his full name. Are you ready? Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno María de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Mater Patricio Clito Ruiz y Picasso. Whew! Imagine that at registration time in your class. It'd be the end of the school day before the teachers finished saying his name. So he's known as Picasso to us, Pablo Picasso. And he was born a long time ago, more than 100 years ago, in 1881, in a place called Malaga in Spain. And he is a very, very, very famous artist. I would actually go as far as to say he's the most famous artist that there's ever been. If somebody asked you to name a famous artist, the chances are you probably would say Picasso pretty quickly. He'd be one of the first ones you think of. Now, he is famous for lots of reasons, but I would say one of the main things he's famous for is something called Cubism, which is a kind of sort of abstract style of painting. You've probably seen some of his paintings before, even if you don't realise that they're his paintings, because they're quite kind of, they're almost, sometimes they're quite kind of cartoony. They look really kind of simple. And I remember when I was young, I thought, wow, they're not very good. But actually, when you learn about what he was trying to do with them, they sort of suddenly become good. And the thing is, he could paint unbelievably well. He could paint, like a photograph. From a technical point of view, he was brilliant, but he chose to do this kind of different style of painting, which is what we're going to have a go at doing today. So we're going to do a portrait. It can be a self-portrait, so it can be you, or it can be somebody else. It can be somebody famous, it can be somebody in your family. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the idea behind Picasso's Cubist paintings. He thought that a portrait, sure, I could just sit here and I could look at you and I could do a really accurate drawing or a painting of you that looked just like you, and that's fine and that's really good in one way. But he thought actually a portrait should capture some of the subject's personality as well. So he would put lots of other little elements into this picture that kind of said something a little bit about their personality. He also thought, actually, when you look at somebody, you don't ever just look at them from one angle. When we take a photograph, that is a picture just from one angle, but in real life, you look at somebody from the front, then they turn their head, you see them from the side, or you see them, they turn around, you see them from the back, whatever. You see them from lots and lots of different angles, and your image of a person is made up of lots and lots of different views. So he tried to reflect that in his pictures. It's quite a hard one to get your head around, but he would do portraits that sort of had the side view of someone and the front view. It's hard, isn't it, to get your head around? Do you know what? It actually is really quite easy, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I tell you what, should we just start doing this? And we'll get, what I will do, I will show you how to do a basic Picasso-style portrait, and then I'm going to hand it over to you, and I want you to fill in lots of the details yourself. That's what's going to give it its individuality a bit later. So should we just start? I'm going to stop talking, and we are just going to start. And we are going to start very simply with our picture today, because I want you to draw a big rectangle. We're sort of going to do a bit of a frame really for our picture today. So I want you to draw nice big thick lines that go all the way around the edges of your paper. Can you see I'm doing this about an inch in, a few 4 or 5 centimeters in from the edge of my piece of paper, and just nice sort of straight lines if you can, like that. Straight lines, he says. Whoop, wobbles all over the place. Remember what I said though, yours does not have to be perfect. In fact, if you look at Picasso's portraits, they are very much not perfect. You can see brush marks and splodges and all sorts of things going on, and that's what he liked to do. Another thing that he would say is that, you know, sometimes he would do paintings really, really quickly because he said that's a good way of putting your feelings and your instinct into the paintings. You sort of do what you feel and you do it quite quickly, and it makes your paintings sort of more truthful in a way. So there we go. We're going to start big rectangle that goes all the way around the edges of our piece of paper. Okay, the next thing to do is right in the middle, I want you to draw a circle. Now your circle will touch the top and the bottom of your rectangle. Again, don't worry if it's not perfect, doesn't matter at all. But it won't touch the sides because otherwise it would be a sort of egg shape, wouldn't it? So we just make it as circular as we can, like that, touching at the top and the bottom. And this is going to be the first part of our portrait. A thing that Picasso used to do quite often is paint with very thick black lines. That's what I'm trying to do here. Oops, bit of smudging going on. Not to worry, it's a work of art, this is a painting. Smudging is good. But yes, he would paint with lots of very thick black lines. And then these lines, when you put shapes together, like this circle and this square, they create other shapes, don't they? So we've got a funny sort of, almost like a pointy sort of C shape there. Another shape here. And we're going to do, by the time we finish that painting, we're going to have lots and lots of these little shapes all over our picture that we can fill in with different colours and patterns. It's going to be lots of fun. Okay, let's start our portrait, the portrait part now. So what I want you to do is, coming up from the bottom of your circle, right in the centre, I want you to do a vertical line. And we're going to stop just before we get to the halfway point, so about there. Okay? Then I want you to turn at a right angle, like that. And we're going to go about 3 centimetres along, dead straight, like that. Then what I want you to do, I want you to go, imagine this line carried on right to the top, so you've got a middle point here, you can even put a little mark there in the middle, and I want you to join this up with that diagonally. So straight line, but it's diagonal, like that, perfect. There we go. And this is going to be the nose part of our Picasso portrait. Now then, can you see already this picture is sort of like a face from 2 angles. If you imagine we're looking straight on at a face, this could be the nose. If I was just to put an eye there and an eye there, it'd be looking straight at us. But also, can you see it's a nose from the side as well? So I tell you what, let's make it look more like a nose from the side. We're going to add an eye looking that way over here. This is how we're going to do it. We are going to draw a sort of backwards arrowhead like that. So it's like a letter V that's rotated 90 degrees that way. We're going to do that there, and then I want you to join the ends up with a nice curve like that. Okay, and then at this end, let's just draw a small semicircle that we colour in. And look, can you see? It's an eye, sort of looking over to the right. Let's make it look a bit more eye-like by adding some eyelashes. So just add lots of little lines there, and lots of little lines there. So can you see now, there's a nose and there's an eye, and it's our portraits looking that way. And then if we add, let's add 2 nostrils. We're just going to add, remember what I said about Picasso, he sort of brought everything back down to basics. So he just drew very, very simple shapes. He didn't want to make it look like a photograph. It's almost like a cartoon. And look, he would do things like that. 2 nostrils, just there, sitting there in the nose, and that just symbolises a nose. And let's add a mouth as well. We're just going to add a little smiley mouth. And there we go. There we have our portrait in profile, like that. Now, do you remember I said we would do drawings from 2 angles? So that's our one angle of our face looking that way, but we are going to draw the other half of the face. This time we are going to do this half of our face looking straight towards us. So instead of doing the eye looking that way, I'm going to do the eye on this side. We're going to do it in a similar way. So we're going to do a sort of curve there and a curve there to make an eye shape. But this time it's looking straight at us, and I'm going to do the pupil right in the middle. A very simple shape like that. And we can add some eyelashes on this one too. At the top and the bottom, just like we did on the other side. Like that and like that. And let's add the mouth as well. We continue our mouth along like that. But this time, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add an extra bit of mouth with some teeth. So it's almost like this half of the head is smiling. So, but you can look at this picture in two ways now. It's somebody looking sort of straight at us, a straightforward view, but also there's another person looking that way. So it's like two portraits in one, but it does look a bit strange, doesn't it? But that was sort of the point of Picasso paintings. They looked very strange indeed. So much so that when it came to adding ears and other bits and pieces on the painting, he'd often put them in very strange positions just to add to the strangeness. So let's add an ear. Let's add an ear up here, shall we? And our ear, we're going to do it like this. We're going to come out. We're going to do it quite high up. We're going to come out, and we're going to add a sort of regular ear shape, sort of slightly sort of S, not S shape, but it sort of dips in there in the middle like that. And I've done it quite high up on my painting, so it looks quite odd. I'm going to do my usual style here. We're going to add a little swirl like that just comes in there. That's my usual ear style, isn't it? So we're going to do that ear over there, which sort of belongs to this side of the head, the one looking that way. And the other one, I'm going to do my other style of ear. I'm going to do it much lower down. Told you this was going to be a strange one. And I'm just going to draw it like that, so almost circular. We'll still do the swirl though, but I'm going to make it a slightly different ear. So there we go. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Doing something. So this is called abstract. So abstract means it doesn't really look exactly like what it's meant to look like. So you sort of you make it very graphic, very simple, and you sort of twist it and tweak it so it looks quite weird, but still is recognizable just about as a human face. Let's add an eyebrow to this eye, shall we? I'm now just making it up. That's the good thing about these Picasso portraits. You can just make it up as you go along. I'm going to add an eyebrow coming over our eye here in a nice curve, and let's just make it a bit of a bushier eyebrow. Now this is when you can start doing your own thing a bit. You can add in little elements. If you're doing yourself, just add in little elements of your own face. Like if you wear glasses, you could add some glasses maybe on one side. Maybe you don't always wear glasses, so add glasses on one side and not on the other. So there we go. This side of my face is looking a bit happy. The other eyebrow, I'm going to do my other eyebrow. I'm going to do it right up here, and I'm going to do it slightly frowny, like that, just to be a bit crazy. Now then, hair. You can do whatever you want with the hair. I tell you something else that I'm going to do. I'm going to start. Let's add some hair. I'm going to do. I don't know who I'm drawing. Maybe this is. I don't know who it is, but I want to add lots of wavy lines for hair coming out of the side of the head here and just going up. It's going to be quite a crazy picture, this. I don't know if this is going to be anybody I know. I just think it's just going to be a fun, crazy picture. So I'm just going to add some wobbly lines there for a bit of hair going up there. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start dividing my picture up into little areas. So just from below the ear here, I'm going to do a vertical line that comes straight down like that. Here I'm going to follow that up there and just make, so can you see I'm just making little shapes in here at various points of my drawing, and I'm going to do a little straight line that comes there. So I'm splitting up into little areas. It's almost like a stained glass window, I think. Let's do some more here. This time I'm going to follow the curve of the face around there, and then I'm going to do a little vertical line that comes down next to the ear there and disappears behind the hair, a bit like that, and then just a little line across there. So what I've done, I've created all these little areas, these little shapes, which I can now work into and start kind of colouring in. Why don't I add maybe this person on this side? That's some hair going straight down in a sort of nice, neat, way. In fact, let's add a few more. So that hair is very nice and neat, and this hair is all kind of messy, so maybe it's like this particular person sometimes has good hair days, sometimes has bad hair days. So you see, it's talking, this picture is telling you a bit more about the person that we're drawing, even though this is a made-up person, because I'm putting some of the personality into the different areas of this picture. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go away into super speed mode, and I'm going to start colouring this in. I'm going to use, you know what I love with Draw with Rob? It's brilliant. You already do this. You sort of use crazy colours. So sometimes when we draw a tiger, your tiger will be green with purple stripes, you know, and I love that about you guys. It's really, really where your pictures are full of life and full of personality. And this Picasso-style portrait is the perfect place to do that, because I want you to go crazy with the colour. I want this picture to be beautiful and unbelievably colourful. And what I also want you to do is, in some of these areas, like I'm going to show you, I'm going to do, maybe this is a little bit of a self-portrait. I'm going to add, in this area here, I'm just going to add some little footballs like that, because I really like football. And you can do, you don't have to add footballs if you don't like football, but you can add, in these little areas here, you can add little bits of things that you like to do. Or if you're not drawing yourself, if you're drawing one of your parents maybe, just add little things that give clues as to who it might be. So if you're drawing somebody who likes making fairy cakes or eating fairy cakes, you can draw lots of fairy cakes in one of your sections. Or a rainbow, maybe, if they like things like, you know, unicorns and stuff. So it's a really good opportunity to fill your Picasso portrait with lots of personality and detail. Do you see what I mean? So there we go, there's some footballs. I'm going to go away now. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to start colouring. And you will see I'm going to go quite crazy with this, so I really hope that you do too. So I'm going to see you back here in about 30 seconds or so with a crazy Picasso style portrait. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. So there we go. There is my very colourful Picasso style portrait. Do you know what? I had a really fun time making this picture, because do you know what? I just found myself, just when I was making my decisions as to what I was going to put in all of these different areas, I found myself just not really thinking too hard about it. I just sort of picked up whatever colour I felt like using at that point, and I just started colouring and drawing random shapes and stripes and all sorts of things. And it's really, really nice. And actually, I think this is what Picasso was trying to say with his paintings, especially his self-portraits. It was like sort of turn off your mind and just let your hand do the thinking. And you know, and that way maybe something of you will end up on your piece of paper and in your painting or in your drawing. And I sort of think that's what's happened here. I mean, yes, I like football, but then there's these little clouds here. So I live in, my head's in the clouds half the time. I don't know what's going on here, some flowers, but they also look a bit like fried eggs. I really like fried eggs, maybe subconsciously. That's about the fact that I like fried eggs. I've done myself green eyes. I have got green eyes, so that's the one bit that's kind of true to life. But I just think it's a very interesting picture. And half of the fun of art is talking about your art afterwards and explaining what you were doing with people. You know, like I was talking about, good hair and bad hair days, all that kind of thing. It's really fun. It's just a really nice, fun thing to do. And apart from anything else, it's just lovely doing lots of different coloured-y, pattern-y things all over your painting. So I am super excited to see your drawings. So, don't forget, we need to sign our name. Now, Picasso just signed his name, Picasso. Remember I told you his name had 23 words in it. He didn't use those 23 words. He just signed Picasso. So I'm going to sign my name. I'm going to find a pen that works first of all. I'm going to sign this picture, Bidolph. My last name. like that. So a bit like Picasso just signed his with his the last of his 23 names. He just wrote Picasso. I'm going to write Biddle, so you could do the same. That might be quite fun. And this week I'm really looking forward to seeing your pictures, because if they're anything like mine, they're going to be an absolute riot of colour and pattern and super fun. And you know what, this is it's a different one, isn't it? It's different. It's not like ones we've done before, and it's very hard to stop actually. Now, do you know what I want to do now? I want to go in here. I want to add a bit of outline to the eye there, and I don't know why, but I just want to add lots of little lines in there. Look at that. I don't know why. I'm going to do that to this one as well. But it's one of those things, these drawings, that you just keep on wanting to add to it. And it's like with Draw with Rob. You know, I always say the rules are there ain't no rules. You can do whatever you like, and I think this is the perfect example of that. Picasso was the perfect example of that. He was always breaking the so-called rules with his paintings and his artwork. You know, he'd start doing these really classical, beautiful, photorealistic paintings, and after a while he said, why do we have to paint like that? Why is that considered really good drawing? Why can't I do a drawing of myself like this? You know, he was always breaking rules, and we don't have rules here at Draw with Rob, and this is the best example, I think, of that. And hopefully your pictures are full of colour and pattern and personality, and I really want to see them. So get your grown up to take a picture of your Picasso-style portraits, and if you use the hashtag Draw with Rob when they post them on social media, that way I will get to see your works of art. I think there's a lot of potential for framed pictures here. At least, the very least, pictures going up on the fridge, parents. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that here. So listen, I cannot wait to see your paintings. I hope you've had a lot of fun with me today. Why don't you go onto your computer and why don't you Google Picasso paintings, and then you'll see, Picasso portraits maybe. If you Google Picasso portraits, you'll see lots and lots of his portraits, and you'll see what I mean. They're all kind of crazy. The noses are all off to the side, there's more than one angle, there's lots of colour, there's lots of pattern, and you'll see how the master himself did it, and you'll see how yours compares. But listen, I've had a lot of fun showing you how to do this, a bit of a different episode. I hope you've enjoyed it too. I'm going to be back very soon with another brand new episode of Draw with Rob. In the meantime, everybody, you take care of yourselves, keep on drawing, keep on painting, keep on being creative, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye. I'm back, and I'm here to tell you about something super exciting. I know lots of you have enjoyed my Draw with Rob activity books. Well, guess what? We've got a brand new one, and it's out now, and it's called Draw with Rob, Build a Story. And as the title suggests, this one is all about telling you how to build your own stories, how to write them, how to illustrate them. We're going to think about characters, how to choose your good guys and your bad guys. We're going to think about where you set your story. It's very important. When you set your story, is it going to be in the past, set in the past, or in the future, present day? We're going to talk about how to structure your story. We need to give it a good beginning, middle, and end. What about plot twists? Unexpected things happen in your story. It's all covered in this book here. And we've also got our regular draw-alongs, loads of draw-alongs in this one, lots of puzzles, lots of colouring. It's super fun. Every single page is perforated, so once you've done your little draw-along like this one of a unicorn, you draw it in the frame here and you tear that page out, you stick it up on the wall. That's super cool, isn't it? And guess what, right at the end we've even got lots of blank pages like that for you to write your own story and illustrate your own story, and then you can put the whole thing together. Look, you put your own story together like that, and then you've made your own book. You don't need me anymore. So listen, I'm super proud of this book. I'm pretty sure you're going to really enjoy it. And guess what? It's out now. You can get it from wherever you buy your books. Okay, so listen, I hope you enjoy it, and I'm going to see you really soon for another episode of Draw with Rob. Bye everyone.